1 year ago, if you had asked me what I knew about English, I would have mainly said good morning, afternoon, hello, bye, only the basic things everyone learned in school. And like most people's, I already tried to learn it many times, but guess what? I always give up. Everything changed when I decided I wanted to travel abroad. That gave me a real reason to start to learn, but I didn't want to spend money. I was broke, so the only option I had was to learn it by myself. Since then, I have tried almost every method people say it's good, and I've watched a ton of videos about learn English faster. I never imagined that 1 year later I would be able to record an entire video completely in English. So, what did I do? What actually helped me achieve my current English level? After trying all kind of hard techniques that promise to teach English faster or make me fluent in 6 months, but seeing no real progress, I got frustrated. I started to think English just wasn't for me. I was about to give up again when, fortunately, I found a video explaining how kids learn a language, and that changed everything. Learn like a child. Don't start with grammar. Instead, I focused on watching kids content like Peppa Pig or reading simple books like The Young Prince. In the beginning, I translated every single word, took a lot of notes with important sentences, and watched every episode 2 or 3 times till I understood everything. Yeah, it was boring, but for the first time, after just 1 week, I actually felt like I was making real progress. Who hasn't tried memorize something only to completely forget it the next day? The truth is, if you don't use the language or don't use it in your daily life, it's almost impossible to remember. Knowing that, I started using an app called Anki. Anki is a flashcard app that uses spaced repetition to help you remember new words more effectively. I stopped watching content in my native language and switched my phone's language to English. I was literally living the language, and after a few months, I realized I could watching TV shows like Friends without Portuguese subtitles. I felt really proud of myself, but then the progress stopped. I was back in my comfort zone. Watching content in English no longer felt like something that was really helping me improve, and what I did next is what made my English skills skyrocket. As someone who lives in a country where only about 1% of the population speak fluent English, it's almost impossible to find someone to practice conversation with. But I knew that if I wanted to be fluent, I had to find a way to speak. So I joined English Discord servers, but I was too shy to talk to anyone. That's when I discovered one of the best things that helped me improve my communication skills, ChatGPT. Until I felt confident enough to speak with real people, AI was my most important tool for actually using my English and learn from my mistakes through conversation. If you want to see how I did it, there is a video on my channel where I show exactly how I use GPT to improve my English. Since I started learning, I made a ton of mistakes, but there is one thing I did right during my whole journey. I was always focused on total language immersion, and this is probably one of the best pieces of advice in this video. I will give you some examples. I didn't understand any English as a beginner. I watched everything with Portuguese subtitles. I was working out. I put an English podcast in my headphones. I was constantly forcing my brain to live in the language I wanted. But why? Here is why I knew I needed to learn it no matter what, because I was about to live my biggest dream, traveling abroad. And trust me, if you don't have a strong reason, you will give up in the first month. And you need a good reason. And every time you feel like giving up, you have to remember why you want to learn it. I discovered that learning English isn't about doing everything perfectly. The most important thing is immersion and try to speak no matter what your level is. Because When I try to speak, I'm forcing my brain to think in the language and remember vocabulary. But yeah, it's funny to say that after trying so many methods. To be honest, it's been hard for me to record an entire video completely in English, but I'm doing it to improve my communication skills. As I mentioned, speaking is one of the best ways to learn, and it helps you to remember vocabulary much faster. I've been learning English for about a year and a half, and I traveled around Europe and the United Kingdom. English has helped me a lot on my journey. Even basic English made a huge difference. Without it, I'm sure I would not have been able to live and connect with so many of the people I meet. English is literally changing my life. Looking back, it's crazy to think that 1 year ago, I could not even introduce myself properly, and now I'm here talking to you in a full English video. This isn't about talent, it's about consistency. One day at a time, one new word at a time, and suddenly everything starts to make sense. So here is my challenge for you. Starting today, do one thing in English every single day. Watch a show, write a sentence, talk to AI, whatever you want. 1 year from now, you will be shocked by how far you have come, just like I was. See you in the next video.